Hey there, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And I actually really love when this happens because it gives me an opportunity to be able to, share with everyone the the realities of, this business and the realities of what things look like on a daily basis, or what things could look like, and how curveballs can be thrown at you, and how it's really important to improvise as you go, and no matter what happens, to still continue to take action no matter what other people around you are doing. And so this morning, our guest was trying to come on, or was saying that she was going to come on. Maybe she's had a hard time logging on, or maybe something happened on her end. We don't know. It's okay though, because even if our guest doesn't show up, I'm still going to go live at 10 a.m. Okay. And in this case, I'm going live a few minutes late. I was actually also just finishing up kicking off a decade in a day workshop for all of our Blueprint students. And so, if our guest doesn't show up here in the next few minutes, and even if she shows up at the very end, we'll bring her on and we'll say hello, but I'm still going to go live, and I'm still going to share, and I'm still going to talk here, because that's what being an entrepreneur is really all about. No matter what happens, and curveballs are going to be thrown, things are not going to go the way that you want them to go 100% of the time. As a matter of fact, it's really important to have what I call a contingency plan, which is a backup plan. Basically, it's a fancy word for a backup plan, right? No matter what's going to happen, what is my contingency plan? What am I going to do if things don't work out, or happen, or things don't happen the way that I want them to happen? And this is a big lesson for a lot of us at the beginning, or a great reminder for a lot of us at the beginning of our careers here. Yes, I did use the word career for some of you who are thinking that, I don't know if this is for me, or I don't know if I can do this. Start thinking about it and acting as if it is your career, right? And it will turn into your career. But at the beginning, a lot of times we are really dependent upon what other people are doing. Well, if the husband agrees with what I'm doing, or the kids are quiet, or, the boss doesn't get mad at me today, or if I have a day off, or if I'm not tired when I get home, then I'll create content, or I'll do, I'll do my marketing activities, my income producing activities for the day. And what I'm really doing, if that's how I'm gonna operate my business, is I'm putting my success, and I'm putting my my future, really, and all of my goals, and all of the things that I want, and all of the things that I'm going for, in somebody else's hands. And that's no different than probably the reason why I started this in the first place, was because I was feeling like too much of my life was being controlled by somebody else, right? And I wasn't in full control of my life. Is that right? I mean, let's just tell me in the comments. Am I hitting the nail on the head? I'm looking at the comments right now, my friends. Am I hitting the nail on the head? Are a lot of you here because you want more control in your life, and you're feeling like you don't have the control that you want? Brooke, thanks for chiming in. Yup. Good morning to everybody as well. Thanks for chiming in about the career comment that I made a few minutes ago. Erica says 100%. Andrew says definitely, Dave. Mike Nidro says absolutely. And so I started this myself because I didn't feel like I was in full control of my future. I felt like, well, look, I want things. I want freedom. I want to be rich. I mean, yeah, I said it. I want to be rich. I don't want to be poor. I want to be rich, right? Why would you want to be poor? There's nothing noble. There's nothing honorable in being poor. I don't want to be poor, despite what anybody told you. So I was feeling, when I started this journey, like I was lacking control, right? Now, some of you are professionals, have careers. I didn't have a full-blown career when I started. I was 24. I was working construction, mostly still with my father, trying to branch out on my own. But it was hard. And I felt like a lack of control around my future. And so when I got in to starting to do online marketing, there was a whole lot of other things that would pop up on a daily basis that I was tempted to give that power away, right? Well, is my girlfriend and I arguing and I'm not really feeling like it? Is the dog barking too loud? Are the kids, playing in the background, right? Does my hair not look good enough? Do I look, you know, for ladies, it might be, am I made up? For the guys, it might be, I don't know. Do I have a clean shirt on? Does it have any wrinkles in it? All of these different ways in which I would give my power away to other people and still letting people control my destiny and control, the outcome of each and every day. And so just like this morning, for those of you who are just coming on, our guest either was not able to come, didn't show up, was not able to log on. I don't know. But when it comes to be 10 a.m. Monday through Friday, we're going live with or without a guest, with or without. It doesn't matter if somebody shows up. Doesn't matter if our guest is able to make it, isn't able to make it, gets sick on the way to, go live with me and attend the show. It does not matter, because our goal is to go live every day for our community. Our goal when we started creating content and doing this show was actually back at the beginning of the pandemic, back in March 2020. And everybody was freaking out. Everybody was sort of leaving and kind of hiding and didn't know if the world was going to explode. And we said, hey, let's go live. Let's just go live every day. And let's just show people that we're not going anywhere and that we're already working from home, and that while everybody is getting locked down and everybody is getting sent home, well, we're already home and we've been doing this for a while. And hey, oh, by the way, there's actually ways that you can work from home and build a business from home. And so we started going live Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And guess what? We've not missed a single day. Let me say that again. A single day. Let me see if I got any food in my teeth from breakfast. We've not missed a single day, right? Not because a guest didn't show up, not because I was sick. We'd have somebody fill in. We hit that live button every single day since March of 2020, when I decided to do this show myself personally. We've hit that live button every single day, and it doesn't matter if somebody shows up to be our guest or not. And so I'm sharing this with you because the intention of this show is to really talk about the real behind the scenes challenges that we face every day and be real and talk about what all of our guests go through, even though you may see 15-second or 30-second videos or 60-second videos out there of people, I just got the notification that our guest is not going to be able to make it. And there you go. And so if I would have been waiting for our guest here and not gone live, then, I may have missed the opportunity to be able to talk to 352 of you right now at 10:12 a.m., right? And I want you to think about that and how that relates to you in your life situation, and how that relates to your business, and how that relates to how you operate. And ask the powerful question of, who am I giving my control and my power away to today? How am I not harnessing it? How am I not taking full control of my business? Because here's the bottom line. People are not going to do what you want them to do. Ding, 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 ding. I know, big surprise, right? So those of you who are parents are going, duh, right? And so this is a great reminder for us that it's never going to be the perfect time. It's never going to be the perfect time to start. It's never going to be the perfect time to post. It's never going to be the absolute perfect time. So many of us ask, well, what's the perfect time to post? What's the best time to post? Anytime. Just pick a time and be consistent, right? That's the most important. The perfect, most important time for you to post is the time that you can consistently do it. That's the most important time for you to post. Look at yourself. Look at your own schedule. Look at your own capabilities. Look at what you can be accountable to. Don't look at what somebody else is doing and say, oh, wow, they're posting every single day at 9, 12, and 6 p.m. 3 times a day, and I got to do exactly what they're doing. Maybe. And what you need to do is you need to find what's going to work for you. And you need to make sure that what you start, you can consistently do every single day. When I started doing the show, I knew that it was a commitment. And I had to think about it a little bit. I had to say, wow, I've got a lot of other responsibilities that are going on inside of this company. We're a bootstrapped, privately owned company. We have no outside funding or investors. I'm the CEO, so I have responsibilities to be able to lead and do marketing activities and leadership activities and training activities. And if something needs to get done, I'm the chief bottle washer. I'm the chief toilet cleaner around here, because that responsibility at the end of the day falls on me. So I had to think about what can I consistently, because I wanted to have a marketing routine. I wanted to have a daily marketing schedule. And for me, the best thing that works is to have accountability and consistency to where something is scheduled. It's an appointment. My marketing is an appointment. I have an appointment every single day with my marketing at 10 a.m. Eastern time, regardless of what's happening around the world. If our guest doesn't show up, I have an appointment and I'm going to go live. If there's a pandemic, I have an appointment and I'm going to go live. I'm just going to go live here in the safety of my own home, right? I'm going to go live right here, and exactly how I've been doing since March of 2020. Now, here's the other interesting thing that we all have to remember is that this is a great attitude and reminder that we should have also about our clients and our potential prospects, because guess who else is not going to do what you want them to do, right? It's going to be your potential clients, right? So if you say, hey, I've posted here one day, okay, I've posted here one day and I haven't gotten any sales or I haven't gotten any leads, screw the world and screw everybody. Well, ultimately, you're only screwing yourself because you didn't have a contingency plan. And that's contingency. Again, backup plan. You have to assume that your prospects and your audience are not going to do what you want them to do. So what are you going to do as a backup, as a contingency plan? So when they don't do what you want them to do, they see you again and again and again. And there's a couple of ways that we do that, right? We can market consistently on social media and on the internet, whatever your strategy that you've picked is. If you're posting on TikTok and repurposing those videos onto Instagram and Facebook, or vice versa, or if you're, posting videos on YouTube, whatever your strategy is, the first and foremost, most important contingency or backup plan. So when your prospects don't do what you want them to do, that you are able to get in front of them again, is to actually keep marketing, right? So for example, if you're marketing on TikTok, the best, first and foremost contingency plan that you should have is to continue to post, right? Because what happens is people see you and they may have an initial judgment. Most of your buyers or your customers are not going to buy on the first time that they see your stuff. They're just not. They didn't wake up in the morning and say, I wonder what I can go and buy from John Smith today from his TikTok profile. Nobody wakes up and logs onto the internet with that intention. But what happens is when John Smith sees you, or whatever your prospect's name is, let's just call him John. When John sees your marketing videos day after day, right? Day after day, that consistency and that familiarity of seeing you creates the phenomenon called trust. And that person will begin to listen to you or notice you or stop and actually take a moment to hear what you have to say. Now, here's another contingency plan or a backup plan, because people are not going to do what you want them to do the first time around. They're usually not. The second contingency plan that we teach here at Legendary and that I've used for the past 12 plus years is to ask for their email, okay? Ask for their email. Now, why do we ask for their email? The reason why we ask for their email is because I know that there's a good possibility that they didn't click on my link the first time that they saw my video out there on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or wherever. They probably saw a couple of my videos, right? Most likely. Or they saw a couple of videos on the same topic from other people and finally decided to take action on mine. That's a way that we can piggyback off of other people's consistency. And you may be missing out on that if you're not consistently marketing. But if we're able to get somebody's email address, then instead of relying on them to reach out to us, which we know does not happen if you've done any sort of entrepreneurial business, even if you've been in MLM or sold Girl Scout cookies. Most people, when they say, let me think about it, or I'll get back to you, is just an excuse to get away from you. That's all it is. They have no intention of following up. They just are afraid to hurt your feelings and say no. You have to know and understand human nature, and human beings are a lot more simple and predictable than you think. They're not like, when somebody says, let me think about it, or I'll get back to you, the minute most of the time they hang up or get away from you, they put you out of their mind and they go on to the thing that they want to do, that they just tried to get away from you for, right? So instead of counting on them, and this is what I used to do at the beginning back when I was actually doing MLM back in 2009, I would hand out and say, can I give you my business card? Here, can I give you my business card? Yeah. And that was the first thing that I did when I started that business. I was like, gotta go get business cards made so I can go around town and I can hand out. You know how many calls I got from handing out business cards? By the way, this is not my business card. I don't have business cards because they don't work. You know how many times I got a call and made a sale because of a business card that I handed out that somebody told me, let me think about it, I'll get back to you. Yeah. Zero. Until I discovered that what I needed to do was start asking for people's business cards, right? Similar to how we ask for people's email addresses here on the internet. I started to ask for people's business cards, and I would then get their business card and I would follow up with them. Now that translated really well when I got tired of chasing friends and family and doing all the offline activities that I was doing back then, putting signs in my yard and magnets on my car. These are all the things that I used to do when I was first introduced to, network marketing back in 2009, which of course I no longer do. But it changed the game for me. So when I was tired of running around town with those sort of old school marketing tactics, relying on friends and family to support my business, right? Or posting on social media, hoping that friends and family would reach out to me. You ever notice that when you have like a business, or maybe you've done network marketing or MLM before, and you're marketing to your friends and family and nobody ever buys anything from you? If anything, they give you a pity sale, right? So many people, they'll say they'll call you back, say they'll think. I mean, we don't even, when we say I'll call you to a friend, we usually don't even call, right? Let's just be honest. Call me, man. Call me. Yeah, I'll call you. I'll call you, dude. We don't call. You know what I mean? We just get carried on with our life. It's not that we don't like that person. It's just that we've got priorities and we've got a life and things to do that day, right? So when I finally came online back in about the end of 2009-ish or so, and I saw people with these pages where they were asking for that email address, it started to make a little bit of sense to me. Of course, I opted in and started getting email sent to my inbox, and I was like, "Holy crap! These people are personally emailing me. Wow, this is crazy." Until I realized that they weren't personally emailing me. They had a whole list of email addresses of people that didn't buy the first time that they saw, the first time that they were exposed to the product, but they were following up with them every single day by sending an email. And that's what I mean by a second contingency plan, right? We have to have a backup plan if we want to make sales in pretty much every step of the way, because most businesses or most marketers lose money Because people do what? Fall through the what? Say it in the comments. Fall through the what? Where do they fall? It's a saying. It's an expression. They fall through the, y'all know what I'm talking about, cracks, right? They fall through the cracks. That's right. They fall through the cracks. And so it's important every step of the way that we have a contingency plan, a backup plan, because even when somebody gets on that email list, if I only send one email to every single person, I got their email address, I'm going to send them an email. Well, I've had people on my email list that buy 6 months or a year later. And it doesn't really matter to me because they're on my email list. I have now an email list of thousands of people, and I'm just sending that backup plan marketing. That's my backup plan for all the people that didn't buy when they first saw the initial offer that I was promoting. Now I'm sending. Now here's another contingency plan. Maybe they're not buying from emails, right? Maybe they're not buying from emails. So as a marketer, I have to say, maybe some of these people need a video. Maybe they need a video explainer of what I'm talking about inside of the email, right? Oksana says it took her 9 months to buy. Yeah. Think about it, my friends. Think about how this relates to you. For those of you who are just coming on, our guest didn't show up today, so I'm talking about having a backup plan as a marketer, but I'm also talking about having a backup plan in your marketing for the prospects who haven't bought yet. I want to tell you guys, or I want to ask you guys, how many of you, it took more than a couple of days or a couple of exposures for you to be able to buy a course here from Legendary Marketer? All right? Was it your very first time? Oh my God, you woke up and you saw something online and you were like, that's it. I'm buying right away. Huh? Tell me. Somebody said 4 months. A couple of months for me, Jason said. Yeah. 8 months, Jody says. 2 months, Becky says. Yeah. Kimberly says it took me a couple of months. Yeah. And then Amanda says, I bought quickly, but I procrastinated. That's okay. This was the 4th time I was presented this. 6 months, 1 week. Jocelyn immediately. Well, that's great. So out of all of these people, Jocelyn may have been the one sale that I got. But look at all of the other sales that I would have missed if I hadn't have kept marketing every single day, or whoever wouldn't have kept marketing every single day, right? Yeah. And that's okay if some of you researched for a couple of hours, Kristen said, but look at all of the other people. Look at all of the different answers in here. Lewis says almost a year. I saw info a year ago. Angela did it immediately. Audrey says just a few weeks, right? Interesting, right? So here, what if people aren't buying from my emails? And there's going to be a wide spectrum of people who make a decision at different timelines, right? So maybe people are not, maybe there's a group of people that are on your email list and they're just not resonating with the writing, the emails. They need to hear a voice. So maybe you create a video that's a little bit longer, more of an explainer video that explains some of the things that you're talking and writing about inside of your email. And you say, hey, go over here and check out this video that I just created. It's going to teach you X, Y, and Z and explain what I've been talking about in my emails. And when you finish the video, you're going to know how to do X, Y, Z and know how to get started or whatever. Okay, cool. Now I can go to that video and I can listen for a few minutes and hear somebody's voice. Maybe that might make your customer feel like it's legit, or you're a real person, or that you're somebody who's not just, catfishing them and trying to scam them and they don't really exist, right? That they see your face or they hear your voice. And then there's going to be a group of people who that's not enough. And maybe you host a live where you go live and you take people's questions live, right? And then after that, Somebody's like, wow, I got my question answered. You acknowledged me on the live, or you acknowledged other people. I was able to see that you were real, you were genuine. I understand why you're doing what you're doing a little bit more. And actually, I'm interested in the product. I'm ready to buy now. Right. And then there may be a segment of people onto your list that they need another backup plan. They need to be hit from a different angle. Maybe you send out an email that says, "Hey, email me back directly with your questions and I'll answer them via email one by one." That's another backup contingency plan, right? What if you said, "Hey, maybe you don't share this to everybody, but your list is small and that you have the time to be able to talk to people individually." So you send out to your email list and you say, "Hey, I have 5 slots open this week to be able to talk for 10 minutes one-on-one over the phone with people or on Zoom and answer all your questions personally or in, share my screen and show you something that you don't understand." That's another contingency plan. So marketing, being successful, both as an entrepreneur and a marketer, is about having backup plans, never letting anybody control or giving your power or control away to them. And this morning, of course, our guest wasn't able to show up. And so I wasn't going to not go live. I have a backup plan. I didn't really have a topic. I wasn't really prepared with a topic, but why not just talk about what's actually happening? Why not just talk about and teach what's actually going on? That's valuable to people. And you can do that in any niche, right? You can talk about what's going on the fly in any niche. You can. You just have to realize that you can and give yourself permission to do so. But on the flip side, one or nearly all of your customers or potential customers are also going to need those contingency plans. They're going to need those backup plans, and you're going to need to continue to give them different opportunities to be able to buy in different formats or different ways. April says, "I hear you, Dave. It's almost like we need your approval to do it." Yeah, we are approval seeking people. We have been trained to ask for permission. We have been trained to try something one time, and when it doesn't work, well, it must not work, right? Because that's what everybody else is doing. So we look at them and we say, well, that must be the way that you do things. But the way that you sell and are successful is that you have to, to try new things. You have to be willing to say, okay, this isn't working. Let me hit my list with a different angle today, a contingency plan, a backup plan, because I have to assume that people are not going to do what I want them to do. And that also lowers my resentment levels and my frustration levels, because it truly is, marketing is literally like, it's like a game of Pac-Man almost. Like sometimes, like when you go into a game of Pac-Man, there's no like one formula, this is how to win the game. Like you're adjusting on the fly, gotta go this, gotta go down this, here comes a monster, got bonus points, gotta go get as many things as I can while I'm the super monster or whatever. Marketing is like a game of Pac-Man, both from your side and how you deliver, because things are never going to, you have to stop needing things, stop trying to control the outcomes of everything, right? Be more flexible as a marketer and as a content creator. Train yourself to be willing to do things on the fly or change directions. Like if you're somebody who, if things don't go as planned, you freak out and have a breakdown and have a panic attack, that's a sign that you need to become more flexible, right? You need to be more agile, right? I had a mentor a long time ago in recovery that used to tell me, man, when you're not flexible, man, you become brittle. You become, and you break easy. You got to be flexible like a rubber band, man. And you got to stay flexible, right? And this is a lot like business and marketing. And it's also a lot like business and marketing from the perspective of your customers. Having no expectations of your customers, assuming that they're not going to do what you want them to do, but continue to create content consistently and hit them from different angles. Because if they're not responding to one thing that you're doing, that's not the way to reach that person. Maybe that particular style of video is not going to work for that. Now, it might work for this segment of your audience, but it may not work for another segment of your audience. So you have to come from a different angle. You have to share different testimonials. A great example of this would be sharing different testimonials, right? So one of the reasons why we have lots of different people on the show is because everybody's not going to relate to me. I'm a 39-year-old guy who's got, not even I dropped out of high school in 9th grade. I don't have a college education, didn't have a bunch of, professional credentials or letters behind my name. And, somebody who's a doctor, somebody who's a lawyer, somebody who's a professional may not relate to me. They think, hey, me and this guy, I don't relate to him. But when they hear somebody who is more like them or has more of a similar background that they do, or comes from a similar place or a similar type of family, or, they're like, I can relate to that person. We're seeing this phenomenon right now with a lot of, we got a large stay-at-home mom community that's really popped up and blossomed right here within our community. And I may not have been able to reach those people, right? I mean, they may not have responded to I'm not sure. Maybe you would have, but when they hear somebody else who they can relate to and identify with, even if it's just a testimonial, even if you're out there marketing as a dude, and instead of only sharing your story, which all of your audience may not respond to, another contingency plan, another backup plan, another way to hit people from a different angle is to share stories from different people of different backgrounds, of different professions, or as I said, even different cultural backgrounds or religious backgrounds or different geographical places where, somebody over in Europe, they're more conservative over there. They're not as silly and crazy and outlandish as we are here in America. Oftentimes Americans can come off as rather, over the top to a lot of Europeans. Well, that's okay, because we can find somebody from over there who's used our product or gone through our courses so they can tell the story and communicate to those people. And maybe they might hear it better through the words of that particular person that's from that same area, right? So that's another way to use different people's stories and voices and messages right in your marketing. Now, how might I do that, Dave? Well, I'm glad you asked. You can share people's stories right on your videos, right on your marketing videos. One of the best things to do to get good at is telling other people's stories, right? Now, sure, you need to learn how to tell your own story, but as I'm saying here, everybody's not going to be able to relate to your story, to who you are, to your background, right? To the things that you've done in life, right? To your goals and whys and motivations. So when you start sharing other people's stories, right, and maybe even grab a video from that person talking and share it right on your TikTok or your Instagram reel, you can do the same thing right within your emails. Some of the best email follow-up campaigns that I've ever written or that we've ever done has been just every email being a different story from a different person, like telling that person's story. Showing a picture of that person, letting people see what that person looks like and sounds like, and some of the things that they had to overcome. Doesn't always have to be, and it shouldn't always be about you. As a matter of fact, one of your superpowers, one of the things that you have at your disposal is sharing other people's stories. And again, that's a backup plan. That's a contingency plan. That's you hitting your prospects and your potential clients from a different angle that's different than the original angle that you might have shared, or your one and only story that only you can tell, right? And that, may only reach a certain audience of people. And so this is everything. This is everything. Again, if you're just coming on or you're just joining, my guest wasn't able to make it this morning. And obviously, whenever something doesn't go as planned, I have the same exact choice that all of you have. Well, guess we're not going to go live today, right? Guess we're not going to have the Wake Up Legendary show today. I have that same choice. I could totally do that. That would totally be a reasonable excuse in the real world, wouldn't it? Well, my guest didn't show up, so we're going to cancel the show. But the show must go on, right? Because look at all of the people who are here that I now get to talk to because I had a contingency plan. And again, my contingency plan usually when this happens is to always talk about just what's happening right now. That's one of the best tools in your tool pouch is to just, share with your audience what's happening currently, the here and now inside of your life or with your work. Let's say that you're doing dog training and, let's say that you went live every day and you did a demo with, or you went live once or twice a week. It might be hard to get a new dog 5 days a week, but let's just say that you're a dog trainer and, or you want to get into the dog training niche. And so you're working with a different dog every single week on live. And well, geez, what if 1 week you don't have a dog? What if 2 weeks you don't have a guest with a dog? What are you going to do? You're going to stop the whole show? No, the show must go on. You need to have a contingency plan. You need to have a backup plan. Well, today, what I'm going to, and you don't even have to really tell people that your guest didn't show up. You don't even have to tell people that your plan fell through. The show must go on. You executive produce it right 2 seconds before the show goes live. And when the show goes live, you say, today we're actually going to talk about the 3 mindset shifts that I have to go through as a dog owner in order to get my dog to do and behave the way that I want them to do. And so the number one mindset shift, 99.999% of the time, people will not even question it. People will not even, they'll not even know. They won't even know unless you tell them. They won't even know unless you tell them, right? Is like if you just go and just act as if it's totally normal, most people will not be like over analyzing what you're doing. Aren't you supposed to have a guest? Does your guest not show up? Like people are just not like that. They're tuned into what you're saying. And as long as you keep the show rolling, right? When you're doing a dance performance, for example, I know this because my daughter's a dancer. I'm not. She does acro and she does ballet. And if she messes up on stage, what's the worst thing that she could do? What's the worst thing that what's the absolute worst thing that she could do if she messes up on stage? That's right. Stop. That's the worst thing that she could do. The best thing that she could do is keep going as if it never happened. Yeah. That's the best thing that she could do is to just keep going as if, hi, mom, my mom's on. The best thing that she could do is to keep going. She could keep going. And most of the time, most people won't even notice, right? Or what they'll say is, wow, she corrected that fast. And they'll be impressed by her ability to be able to pick up and not let that stop her, right? So it's a skill that when you run into something that doesn't work out the way that you wanted to, and it is a muscle, it is something that you have to work out. It is something that's going to be uncomfortable at first. Improv is a skill that has to be developed in comedy. It's a skill that has to be developed in acting, right? Improv acting and improv drama, right? All of these are skills that you will get better at as you continue to practice them. And surely it's going to be uncomfortable. And surely you might even think that you suck at first. But others won't think you suck or notice unless you point it out to them. That's what I found out. Most people will not know that you suck or that you messed up or that you didn't have a plan unless you point it out to them, right? So, my friends, this morning was all about improv, right? This morning was all about hitting post, even though I didn't have a guest here or my guest wasn't able to show up. And that's okay. That's okay. Something popped up. She got a time zone mixed up or whatever. Shit happens. Shit happens. But I'm not going to sit there and step in the shit, and I'm not going to roll around in the shit. And I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to step over it and I'm going to keep it moving. And that is one of the secrets to success. People are always asking and doing these big, long 2-hour podcasts and breaking down and trying to, understand the science of success. Oh my gosh, it's this big mystery. I got one day, the skies are going to part and those stone tablets are going to come down and tell me the secrets of. No, it's not like that. It's just there's going to be piles of shit along the way, right? And you just, here's the secret. When there's a pile of shit, step over it. Don't step in it, right? Don't stop and look at it and say, hey, everybody, here's a pile of shit right here. Come on. I'm serious. It stinks. It's horrible. Come over here. Smell it. Look at it. Let's step in it. Let's play with it. No, nobody does that. So, some might, but you shouldn't, right? Because that's nasty. Same thing with the little tiny piles of poop that happen along the road of your marketing journey. There's going to be little landmines. Try not to step on those. Definitely don't step on those, right? What are the landmines? Quitting. The landmines are letting somebody else talk you out of it. The landmines are letting somebody else criticism, beat you down so much that you begin to lose faith and trust in the confidence that you might have left in yourself. Those are the landmines. Really beware of the landmines, right? Anything that makes you want to quit is a landmine, right? The things that get you frustrated along the way, those are the little piles of shit along the road. Don't even just step over them, right? Don't make it a big old scene, right? Don't make a big mess of it, right? Just step over it. It's somebody else's stuff. Somebody else didn't handle their business or clean up their stuff. Step over it. All right? Step over it. Diana, if you're getting cringe in your comments, get better. Just get better. It's probably because you're new. And guess what? I got cringe in my comments 12 years ago when I first started too. And you know what? Those were little tiny piles of shit. Those were little tiny piles of shit that other people were dropping in and I had to notice those piles. Ooh, there's a pile of shit right there, right? I'm going to just step over that and keep going. I'm not going to stop and roll around in that. And I'm definitely not going to turn a pile of shit into a landmine and let it explode, blow me up, and force me to quit. All right? So don't quit until the miracle happens. I always say that. Somebody told me that when I was getting clean, right? Because I didn't ever think that I'd be able to stay clean, right? Somebody told me that. Hey, Dave, I know you want to stop. I know you want to go out there and use. I know you want to go out there and screw up. I know you don't think that this path of like getting clean and getting your life together and staying clean and being successful is possible for you. But just don't quit until the miracle happens, my boy. And guess what? Here I am. Lots of piles of shit along the way. Lots of landmines too. Stepped over the piles of shit. Sometimes I stepped in one, but you know what? I go over, I grab a hose, I spray the shoe off. That's it. And I keep going. I might even throw the shoes out. Who cares? I can get another pair. I avoid the landmines of letting people or letting myself talk me out of this because I'm getting those cringe comments or people are projecting their own insecurities and their own toxicity and their own negativity onto me, right? Because maybe when they see me doing something and they see me going after my dreams and my aspirations and they're too afraid to go after theirs, they might project their toxicity and their negativity and their self-loathing or self-hatred onto me. That's a pile of shit. I need to step over that and make sure that it doesn't turn into a landmine. And you're damn right, Mike, they don't pay your bills. When those cringe comments start to pay my bills and I can take them to the bank and deposit them and they turn into real money, I'll start giving them a lot more attention. But right now, I've never been able to and you know what? I've never been able to deposit anybody's opinions, even their positive opinions of me, into my bank account and pay my bills with them. But you know what opinions I have been able to turn into cash? My own. So every single thing that you do, remember, you are building up the opinion that you have of yourself. And that's a lot of what this journey is about. It's about building your confidence, building the trust that you have in yourself that, hey, you know what? If my guest doesn't show up, I can still do a kick-ass show. If I get up and I don't quite feel inspired and I don't quite feel as confident as I did yesterday, or maybe as confident as I feel like I should feel, I'm going to do it anyways. Because in doing it in those hard moments is actually where skill is built, is actually where muscle is built, right? I was hitting the punching bag last night at about midnight, right? Doing a late night workout, second workout of the day, actually. I'm on one right now. And I'm sore today, man. I'm sore today. My shoulders I was icing my shoulders last night at 12:30. But I know that I had a good workout because I'm sore, right? So it is going to be a little bit uncomfortable. These are muscles that you may have never worked before. So if it's a little bit uncomfortable, if you feel a little bit sore, if you feel a little bit overwhelmed and stretched, then know that you're growing. That's how it's supposed to feel when you're making adjustments on the fly. That can give you anxiety. I sweat. Look at me. I'm sweating like, I'm sweating. You don't know how anxious I might be. You don't know how anxious somebody else might be out there who you're seeing them have success. But you know what? We do it despite how we feel. We do it despite how we feel. I heard a great saying in recovery when I was starting out that feelings are not facts. It's just fact I feel. Feelings they're not always facts, right? It's just a fact that I'm going to feel something. And that's a good thing because you're feeling maybe in the dumps right now, but that shows me that you also have the potential to feel the high highs when those come your way too. And you know what? Great high highs are worth waiting for. They're worth working for. That's what this journey is about. It's about earning stuff. It's about earning your success. It's not about getting it handed to you. And all of these things that we do, such as me going live when my guest didn't show up, instead of saying, you know what, nobody would question me. Nobody would second guess me if I said, guest didn't show up today. Everybody go and catch the replay from this last week. Have a great Friday. Nobody would question that. As a matter of fact, all 400 of you would probably just go find something else to watch or something else to do, or you'd go work on your business or whatever. But for me, the benefit that I get, right? The benefit that my business, our business gets from me saying, no, I'm going to go live anyways, is building more trust, is delivering more value to you all. So you guys can say and see that, wow, hey, there's some value here. I can learn something here. And not only can I understand and hear the philosophy, but I can see it in action. That's valuable, right? So there's been a lot of things that we've covered, but mostly it's all about having a contingency plan, having a backup plan for yourself when you wake up and things don't work out the way that you want them to work out. There are only loose plans penciled in entrepreneurship. Nothing's penned in. Nothing's in concrete. There's only loose plans that are penciled in. And you have to be willing to hit that eraser and write a new plan. Sometimes improvise on the fly. And the same thing will go for your clients and your potential prospects, that you got to hit them from a different angle. You can't just keep doing the same thing. If your stuff is not working, try something different. Send a different email. Send a different type of email. I gave you 4 or 5 different ways that you could follow up with clients to hit them from different angles today. Each one of those can be a step in your success and help you to close more sales, because there's going to be people on your list and people who are following you who are going to need to hear a different angle, who are going to need to be hit from a different, a different perspective, if you will. Hear somebody else's story, hear it in a different way, hear it in a different language, hear it in a different on and on and on, right? And in some cases, as you see in the comments, they're going to need to hear it for some days or some months, and in some cases, even over a year, right? You'll find that people on your list will buy, in some cases, a year later. So that concludes today's episode. It's 10:54. Look at that. I was only going to go live for just a little bit, just talk a little bit of stuff about what's going on and what happened in building contingency plans. And I came up with 54 minutes of content this morning, all about exactly what happens and the breakdown of how I think about it when these kind of things do happen. I hope it was valuable to you, my friends. Thank you for the trust that you give me and us. Thank you for spending your time with us. Thank you for learning. You could be really, learning these skills in a lot of different places. They may not be as productive. A lot of gurus, YouTube University, of course. I am biased, but I do think this is the best place in the world to be able to learn these skills and also develop the leadership qualities, in the entrepreneur qualities that you need to be able to succeed at a high level doing this. And you can look around in this community and see a lot of people succeeding at a high level. And there's absolutely nothing stopping you from achieving the same thing. It just might not be on the same timeline. So get rid of all those expectations. Stop writing things in pen and getting mad when they don't happen the way that you wrote them out in pen. Write them in pencil. Have your eraser ready. Have a contingency plan. Okay, this didn't happen in the time that I wanted it to happen. Okay, I'm going to spread my goal out. Maybe it's going to take me a year instead of 6 months to hit this goal. Whatever it takes. Just be legendary, my friends, and we'll see you back here on Monday for another episode. Have a great weekend. Get out of here. Peace.